Day 138 of 365 days of meditation. I was up about 5:45 this morning. Meditated for an hour, and yeah, not a ton to note. It's a little bit earlier in the day, so mine was a little bit quieter. But overall, I come out of meditation and I feel good, even sometimes if I feel a little bit of anxiety in the body during the practice, which is pretty normal for me. Yeah, and I had a pretty decent day. I just got back from a yoga class, so some more kind of relaxation, stretching, meditation, you know. But I just kind of feeling a little off at the moment. I think I might just be tired. I know that if I get tired, yeah, I can kind of feel a little off. So the good thing is, doing all the good things to take care of the mind and body, and what is now just like a little dip in mood this evening, or what I'm experiencing right now is a little dip in mood. Historically, when I wasn't meditating every day, probably would have derailed me or had the potential to derail me, or, drag on into the next day and the next day. Whereas now I'm pretty confident that just need a bit of sleep and I'll wake up tomorrow and reset and feel good again. So, yeah, I guess that's positive, and one of the benefits of this daily meditative practice that I've been doing now for 138 days really just seems to help me stay a little bit more even keel. My highs are maybe not as high and my lows are not as low, just a little bit more stable, which is good. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there that just are naturally stable and don't need meditation daily to feel that way, but I'm probably not one of them. At least that's been my experience for the last 38 years of my life. So, and it's not necessarily a negative thing. There are benefits to this greater level of I don't know what we'll call it, but intensity of emotion. That's what I'm going to go with. In that it can lead to, inspiration, the obsessive thinking when I hone it in on something that I want to accomplish can be quite useful as well. I can really mull things over. It helps with creativity. So there's a lot of benefits. And I find if I do have a good outlets for it, then I'm, making good use of, it becomes an asset. I'm making good use of it. And if I am not, then it sort of builds up and becomes anxiety. And yeah, I guess that's, one of the things I've started noticing with time and some thought about my, mental and emotional health, which I never really gave it any thought up until, other than thinking about the fact that it was brutal and I was suffering. I never really gave it much thought or contemplation up until probably 3 years ago or so now. So, yeah, I guess just a different way of looking at it. Not seeing, a propensity for mental health struggles as necessarily a weakness or a hindrance. If leveraged correctly and managed properly, it can be an asset, I guess is the way I'm going to think of it or look at it. And yeah, I think that's an accurate way of explaining somebody who's a little bit more intensely emotional. Potentially. Or maybe emotionally sensitive is the word. I don't know. I don't like the term emotionally sensitive. I don't know why. It bothers me. I don't know. I associate that with weakness, and maybe that's not a good thing. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. Just a bit of rambling there about what's on my mind. And in closing, as always, if you're struggling with your mental health, if you just feel like you're unable to cope day to day with your mental, emotional, psychological state, if life is a struggle, if it feels like it's way harder than it should be, if you're anxious, depressed, procrastinating constantly, worried, obsessing, ruminating to the point where it's negatively impacting your quality of life, don't suffer in silence, don't struggle alone. There is hope and a path out of it, and the first step you could take is to talk to somebody. You have no idea where that conversation might take you. You have no idea what the next step might be that comes after that conversation. And there's no way to find out until you take that step and have that conversation. So I would definitely encourage you to do so if you're not in a great place mentally, emotionally right now, or if you're in a very bad place. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, because been there, done that, and it is not fun. Yeah, that's it for today. I'm going to get some sleep, give myself the care I need, and wake up tomorrow feeling great. So have a good evening. Thanks for watching.